with me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Command Postgame Live. You know what it is. Post up. Get the right hand going. Take command. I, of course, am your host, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. I'm dressed in all black like the Omen. You know that means one of two things happen. Either something really bad happened or we just took one on the chin. And unfortunately, we just took one on the chin on Monday Night Football to the Philadelphia Eagles, 26-18. Eagles are now 8-2. Commanders are now 7-4 on the season. And it's kind of a big deal now because that creates space in the division. We now need someone to help us in order to get back into the divisional race. We could beat Philadelphia if they don't lose any other games. We can't catch them. So it was a big game. We knew it was a big game. And unfortunately, we didn't get it done. Let me start by saying this. I want the mob to do me a favor. And my mods in particular. Let the Philadelphia Eagles fans, I know they're going to flood the comment section. Let them talk their shit. They won the game. Don't be sensitive. Don't push them out. This is the only thing that we will not allow. We're not going to allow personal attacks. If they're being, really disrespectful, then you can time them out. You can kick them out if need be. And if they're spamming, I don't want to see a bunch of birds. I don't want to see a bunch of stupid shit like that. If they're doing that, you can kick them out, right? We don't need spamming going on in the comment section. But let them talk their shit. They won the game, right? What I don't want to hear is, oh, your mods were being sensitive. They weren't letting us talk our shit. Let them talk their shit, man. They won the game. Let them talk their shit. As long as they not being disrespectful and they not spamming, we all good over here, man. We kosher. So let's start from the top. This was a disappointing performance, but man, I'm going to tell you, boy, we looked tired. We look mentally and physically beat up, and these 10 days are going to be everything, right? And I knew that this was a team that looked beat up and tired, and we saw it. But I want to give credit to the defense first. If you would have told me through 3.5 quarters roughly, the Philadelphia Eagles were going to have 12 points in this game, I would have told you not only are we winning this game, we are blowing the Philadelphia Eagles out in this game. We had our chances to really apply pressure and put them in a tough spot. They were struggling. They had a field goal kicker that was struggling. Their quarterback was struggling. They were searching for answers. The run game wasn't effective. They weren't hitting any big plays. We were doing what we wanted to do defensively to them. And I credit this defense. I know Saquon had the 2 runs in the span of a minute or whatever it was, and they kind of got away from us late, but the defense put us in a position to win this game. And if you would have told me before this game started, we would be 10 minutes into the fourth quarter and the Eagles would have 6 points, I would have said, first of all, you bullshitting. I don't believe you. You need more people. And then I would have said, oh, well, then we winning by 3 touchdowns. We up at least 3 scores. And we had a chance to do that. But there were a lot of things that didn't look right offensively tonight. And you got to credit the Eagles first. This was exactly what the Eagles fans said it was going to be. His welcome to the NFC East moment. They welcomed him very rudely tonight. He looked scared. He looked flustered. He didn't look like himself. Credit the Eagles for that. Credit a bad left tackle for that. I've been telling y'all about Coleman all year, and y'all told me I was tripping. He's a rookie, Louie. You're being too hard on him. Bullshit. Either you can or you can't. Now, look, we've been through this before. We've done this for long enough. I've done this for long enough. When have you ever seen a team go 50% of the snaps with one guy 50% of the snaps? Either you playing or you're not. That should have told you all you need to know. They didn't trust him. They didn't trust him. And I don't trust him. And if Cornelius Lucas is healthy after this 10-day hiatus, which he was activated tonight, but I think it was like Andrew Wiley last week against Pittsburgh. It was breaking case of an emergency. Yeah, you're active, and if we need you, you can go, but we don't want to play you tonight. I would love to see Cornelius Lucas be reinserted at the left tackle position. If you want to go back to the platoon thing, knock yourself out. But less of Coleman is better. And I'm not telling you he can't help us in some, regard. I think he would make a fine guard. I think he would make an excellent guard. He's athletic, he's physical, he's strong. I think he would make a fine guard. He is definitely not an NFL tackle. I can assure you of that. But sticking with the defense, because I want to give credit where credit is due. They gave us a shot tonight, man. This defense played their asses off. I mean, think about it. We went into this game saying, man, who's going to guard AJ? Who's going to guard Smitty? Who's going to guard Dallas Goedert? None of them were issues. All of them had one big catch. Two of AJ and Smitty both on slants. Goddard on a busted coverage, it looked like, where nobody was around. And then we forced a fumble. Didn't recover it. And that told me, that was all I needed to see because you know what it made me think of? When we forced that fumble, I thought about the game 2 years ago. Remember they had a similar play? It was a deep ball down the field. I want to say it was Quez Watkins that caught it. We poked it from behind free, right? Pause. And it was recovered. And obviously it was a big play for us. And we did the same thing in this game, but of course we didn't recover. Got to give credit to Grant Calcaterra for hustling on the play. Similar to OZ earlier in the season against Cleveland. We got a taste of our own medicine there. Got to give him credit where credit is due. He hustled, busted his ass, and he was in the right place at the right time. And so it just wasn't our night. But the defense gave us every opportunity to win this game, and we didn't play well enough on offense. And that is the story leaving this game. And there are a lot of questions. We're going to get to those here in a bit. But let me just close the book on the defense. I thought Frankie Louvu was fantastic. I thought Jeremy Chin was outstanding. Big fumble forced by Quan Martin. Percy Butler was awful tonight. And he didn't do a lot of things incorrect, but he missed the tackle on Saquon, which was the first real big play for the Eagles of the night, right? Need that tackle to be made. He didn't successfully get Jalen Hurts out of bounds on that play where he was coming from distance, and he let Hurts run through his leg tackle and get the first down. That would have put them in a position where they would have had to go for it on fourth down had he successfully wrapped him up and got him out of bounds a yard or two short of the first down. Instead, he got the first down. But I thought we rushed well. Yep. Dorrance Armstrong got up the field a couple of times, allowed Jalen Hurts out the back door. It happens. But for the most part, I thought we rushed really well. We didn't have to blitz a ton to do so. I thought we had him flustered, especially in the first half. He was, guys were open and he was not, he didn't look comfortable. Just like Jaden didn't look comfortable. I didn't think either one of the quarterbacks looked all that good tonight, nor comfortable in this game, right? I thought both teams' quarterbacks had 10 incompletions on the night. Neither looked all that crisp or sharp. But when it was all said and done, they made the plays that we didn't make in this game. And that was the real story here. So then you get to the offense. And I talked about there's levels to this shit. And you got to figure out what the levels are, right? So the first level is the elites, the halves. You want into that company when the games are their toughest, when the opponents are their greatest. You got to have your best effort. You got to be able to stomp with the big dogs. That's what the elites are. Then there's that next tier down, and that's the middle class, right? We'll say the fringe. I think that's where we are. The fringe, where you're going to beat up on the middle class teams. You're going to beat up on the have-nots, but you're not ready to beat the elites. You're not quite there yet. So we'll call that the fringe. And then there's the middle class, where you can get got by a lesser team. You might show up for a team that's better than you, but it's going to balance itself out. You're going to be an 8-9 win team, right? Middle class. And then there's the have-nots. You just stink. And the teams that are in the elites, in the fringe, they're going to beat up on you every time. And the have-nots, or the middle class, could go either way, but they usually find a way to beat you too. We're on the fringe. We're definitely not middle class, because we're going to end up with 11 or 12 wins this season. I still think 13 because I don't have us losing another game. But we're not elite either. We're not ready for the show. And this game kind of proved that. And again, I know our fan base. So I know what's going on right now. I'm not even looking at the comment section right now, but I'm pretty sure if I peruse through the comment section, It's a lot of gloom and doom. It's a lot of skies falling. We suck. Oh my God, this, that, and the third. Because that's your move, right? A lot of y'all are mentally weak as fans. At the first sign of trouble, the first sign of adversity, you pack your shit up and you run. That's what a lot of you are as fans. Those days are over. That's not who we are as an organization nor a team anymore. We are not going away. Okay? This is adversity. Did you think this season was just going to be all roses and candy and fun? I told you before the season started, this was going to be a roller coaster. I'm actually shocked that there haven't been more peaks and valleys to this point. It's really just been this upward trajectory. It's only now that we finally started to see some dips and bumps in the road. But now adversity has hit. What are we going to do? You got 10 days off, and then you got a Dallas Cowboys team that is reeling. Put foot to ass, not belt. Put your foot so far up their ass they're coughing up shoelaces. Do the same thing to the Tennessee Titans. Go into your bye week at 9-4, and let's figure out how to be better after the bye, right? That's the next move. Not complaining about what happened tonight. Learn from it. The Eagles were more physical than we were. The Eagles were prepared, especially defensively. They gave us some looks that I don't think Jaden was quite comfortable was quite comfortable with. There were open receivers, though. I can't wait to watch the film. I saw Zach Ertz open on the 3rd and 4. I don't know where the hell Jaden's looking at. Quinyon Mitchell's playing 50 yards off, and the hitch, he threw it earlier in the game. Throw the hitch. It's there. It's first down. But he wasn't locked in. And I told you, he's got to get out of this shit of being locked in on Noah Brown. For whatever reason, he loves him some 85. And another big question, is Terry McLaurin injured? Did he injure himself in this game? Because he didn't finish the game. He wasn't in on the final 2 possessions of this game. And I just need answers as to why he wasn't in. I love the adjustment that Cliff made when the Eagles took the lead 12-10. Cliff went to 12 personnel, took the extra receiver off the field. But I don't give a shit if we're in 12 personnel. One of the 2 receivers on the field, unless you're setting them up for some other shit, one of the 2 receivers needs to be Terry McLaurin on the field. Why Terry wasn't in pretty much that entire possession, and we're trotting out OZ and De'Ami Brown for a large part of that possession, is beyond me, right? Terry came in, had a comeback on that drive. He caught a comeback, and he went right back out of the game, and he didn't come back in the game. And he didn't come back in the game at all after that. So unless I missed something and he injured something and I don't know about it, what the hell was that about? Because first of all, I'm pissed off that he only had one catch in this game. Maybe 2 targets, max. The Eagles are good on defense. They ain't that goddamn good on defense. No defense is that good to keep my best player from catching the football any less than 4 or 5 times in any given game. I don't give a shit who we're playing. Okay? This is one of my issues with this organization, and has been an issue with this organization going all the way back to Scott Turner when he was here. There is not enough of an emphasis to get your best players the goddamn football. There is no excuse. Quinyon Mitchell ain't that goddamn nice. He was playing off. I saw the shit. There's slant opportunities. There's opportunities. And it seemed like we were running a lot of deep-ass routes. I'm like, did Eric Bieniemy take over the play calling tonight? The hell is this shit? Everything seemed to be vertical up the field. What happened to the 5-yard hitch? What happened to the speed cut? What happened to the slants? What happened to getting the ball out of JD's hands quickly? Everything felt like he was holding on to the damn ball forever, trying to let routes develop down the field. That's not who we've been all season. Why all of a sudden now are we morphing into this team that's trying to get all of these chunk plays on every single snap? What happened to let's get 5 on first down, let's get 4 on second down and be in 3rd and 1? What happened to that? The run game calls were very unbalanced. Felt like he kind of lost sight of who the personnel was. I told you can't run inside on this Eagles team consistently, especially in short yardage situations. Like, if I know this stuff, because I watch, how the hell don't you know it as a coaching staff who's supposed to be, locked into this shit? Cliff's play calling was uneven. Jaden was not comfortable, and he was inaccurate. He looked like Donovan McNabb tonight. How many balls did we see skip to the receiver tonight? At least 5. You want to say he's not healthy? Okay, I'll grant you that. We know he's not healthy, but shit. Ain't no excuse for that. If you ain't healthy, then don't play. I can't make excuses for him. You out there, you good enough to perform, get the shit done. That shit wasn't good enough, right? I thought this game was lost, and so we asked Dan Quinn to be aggressive. A lot of y'all, I'm guilty as charged. I wanted him to be aggressive tonight, and that was the perfect spot for him to be aggressive. But he shouldn't have had to do that. I thought that was the turning point in the game. Down 12-10, moving it right down the field on the Eagles defense. Cliff made the adjustment, went to 12 personnel. John Bates became a focal part of the offense, which is crazy to even say out loud. But we went to 12 personnel. We started utilizing the tight ends. Ertz had a catch. Bates had 2. We got it to the running backs. Eckler had a catch, and we were moving the ball. Terry had the comeback on the right sideline, and we were moving the football. And then it was 2nd and inches, and B-Rob decided he wanted to go rogue. They ran a play that was supposed to just get the inches and move the sticks. And instead, B-Rob got greedy. And I'm so disappointed in him because he was trying to hit a home run when we just needed a single, bro. Hell, we just needed a damn ground ball on the opposite side of the damn field so we could advance the runner. We didn't even need a base hit. And he decided, I'm going to bounce this bitch right into Jalen Carter. 1 yard loss. There was a white wall in front of him. Offensive lineman pushing. They weren't creating no space, but if he'd have just put his head down and kept churning his legs, he would have fell for it for a damn first down. Well, all we needed was inches. He ran right into Jalen Carter, lost a yard. And then Cliff Kingsbury lost his shit. The 2 worst play calls you could argue of the season. Back-to-back plays. I don't know what the 3rd and 1 run was. That shit was dead on arrival. Right? And then you run it again, and this time it's Jaden Daniels on a quarterback keep with no option to throw, and it looked like false start. Sam Cosmi looked like he was pulling too damn soon, ran into Jaden. Jaden bobbles the ball. I don't know what the hell that play was supposed to be. It didn't look like it was going to work. Whatever it was, it didn't look like it was going to work. That's the best you got on 4th and 2? What happened to Jaden in the gun? Seeing the field. What happened to trust in 5? What happened to utilizing the 2 running backs in the backfield that were killing the Eagles in the first half? With Eckler on one side and B-Rob on the other side. What happened to that? Like, what are we doing? What is that? Like, there was so much questionable shit being done tonight. Again, really disappointed in the play calling, the execution. But like I said, we looked tired physically and mentally on offense. We have. And look, I don't know if there's real validity to this Cliff Kingsbury second half of the season, conversation that we heard prior to the year, right? But I can tell you this much, and I don't subscribe to this. So let me state my position. I don't subscribe to it. But I can tell you this much. The last month, season hasn't looked, the shit doesn't look the same as it did earlier this year. And I also think that a lot of it coincides with 5 getting injured against Carolina. He hasn't looked like the same quarterback since he's come back. And the only thing that's going to heal that injury is time. We know that. So that's why I think these 10 days going to be huge for him. He'll feel a lot better after this. And then if we can get through those 2 games without any, injuries being exacerbated, we should be ready for the stretch run. We should have our QB back playing the kind of football that he was playing earlier in the season, and we can get back to being who we are. Your mind can start to wander when you see us play the way that we've played. As shit starts to get cold outside, is Jaden Daniels not a cold weather quarterback? Like, that's some shit you start to think about, right? Start asking yourself these questions. It ain't getting any warmer outside. And his play is dipped as the weather has gotten worse, colder and colder. His play has gotten worse and worse. I told y'all he looked like he was freezing 3 weeks ago when it was like 55 degrees outside. Is this a real thing? I don't know. Like, that's why I said when you're struggling, you start trying to pinpoint things. You start grabbing that shit in the air. None of it might be real, but that's what happens when your mind is allowed to wander, right? That's kind of where we are now. We're searching for answers. Like, is he injured? Is Cliff's play calling declining? Is he not a cold weather? Like, we're searching for shit. And I just think I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. I just think they tired, man. I think everybody just needs to recharge the battery. And this is an opportunity to recalibrate and find their north. This is an opportunity, these 10 days. You can get a little self-scouting going. Even though it's not technically a bye, you can get some self-scouting going. You can lick your wounds. Guys that have been dealing with injuries can get healthy, get some treatment, watch some film, do all of the things that they need to do to then go through these next 2 games, get some dubs. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is kind of where I'm at with it. And then we'll get to the comment section after we get a word from one of our sponsors here. One thing we haven't done this season is had issues with lesser teams. Teams that aren't good, we've beat the brakes off of them. We got 3 straight games against sub 500 teams that ain't shit. Cowboys are in free fall mode. The Titans are tanking for a quarterback, and the Saints, they just got an interim head coach, but we know how that goes. They had that 1 week, burst, and then they're gonna go back to being the Saints. Those are your next 3 opponents. 2 before the bye, 1 after the bye. If we don't kick all 3 of their asses, then I'll start to worry. Now I'll start to think maybe our shit ain't together. Because teams like Dallas and Tennessee, they look like Cleveland and Carolina to me. These supposed to be ass whoopings. So we'll see what we do after these 10 days off. If we can't handle business against the likes of Dallas and Houston, Dallas and Tennessee, now we got real issues. And then we can have a real conversation about, okay, now we really starting to hit a wall, so to speak. But if we dispose of them like we've been doing bad teams this year, in my mind, we're not losing another game this season. It has not changed because of tonight's outcome. I was hoping we could get through this one and win, and the defense gave us a chance. But in my mind, got to find a way, right? That's all I was thinking was got to find a way to win this game. It's going to be tough. Short week, got a lot of dudes banged up. But I still trust in the process. I still trust in one of them ones. We got one of them ones. We saw it earlier this season. We've seen him do extraordinary things. Even last week against Pittsburgh, some of the throws in that game was ridiculous. But I need a rededication to the fundamentals and the basics. If it's not there, tuck it and run. Hey, let's run these shorter routes, right? Let's get the 5-yard gain on 2nd and 7. Let's run the little 5-yard stick route to the tight end. Get you to 3rd and 2 so we can convert. We were awful on 3rd downs again tonight. And some of these were 3rd and short. A lot of these were 3rd and shorts. These weren't 3rd and 9s and 13s. These were 3rd and 4s and 2s, and we didn't convert. And again, some of that was play calling. Some of it was Jaden. I can't wait to watch the film to see, because I already know. I watched the game. It's the TV copy, so there's only so much you can see, but I saw enough to know that it's a combination of both. It's a combination of both. So let's get to Inside the Odds, brought to you by BetUS. We'll come back on the other side of that, and we'll get to the comment section and see what y'all talking about.
Inside the Odds.
Looking for a new book this season? BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year as long as you're active within a 6-month period. And here's the big kicker for new users. 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit of up to $2,000 and 125% on your next 2 deposits of up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. That's YouTube150 to get you that sign-up bonus on betus.com. So the spread was Eagles 3.5-point favorites in this game. They covered the spread, obviously, winning this game by 8. The total for the points in this game, over under total 48.5. I thought it was going to be a shootout, not like a pseudo shootout. My score was 31-27. I thought we were going to see points being scored. I think everybody assumed we were going to see points scored tonight. Al Michaels was talking about this during the game, like, hey, we thought we were going to get fireworks here. And, it's a 7-3 game at halftime, I believe. And through 3 quarters, I think the score was 10-6. And through the first 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, it's a 12-10 ball game. So I think most people were surprised at the lack of points being scored. Things got interesting late from a points perspective, but still fell short. The total was 48.5, and obviously the 2 teams combined to score 44 points. So the under was the winner there. I would have taken the over, and I would have been wrong. So we'll come back to Inside the Odds a little bit later on in the show, but let's get to the comment section and see what you guys are talking about, see what you have to say. We start the night off with Ben Hanniger. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, so all I want to know is why our offense is so ineffective. The defense did their part, still believe in JD5, but have to do better. And again, there's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers right now that we don't have. I thought Cliff was he was uneven. Cliff was uneven. I felt like Jaden was uneven and off. And I mean, how many balls did he skip tonight? I think that injury might be bothering him a little bit more than he's leading on. And he's being a warrior and he's trying to gut through it. But the misses that we're seeing, like, we didn't see this pre-injury, right? We didn't see any of this shit. The reluctance to run, the inaccurate throws, the decision making, even his decision making is a little off right now. There's got to be a cause for this, and I don't think it's the book is out on him. There's a blueprint. Like, that's bullshit, because they're open receivers, right? It'd be one thing if guys weren't open, but they're open receivers. Noah Brown was open on that deep over route. He just missed him. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys are open. So I'm not necessarily subscribing to that. I think he's a little bit more banged up, and this being a short week didn't do him any favors. Like, he told the sideline reporter, "You're gonna see me wincing tonight when I have to try to put a little mustard on it, because it was a short week, and I didn't get the amount of treatment that I normally get leading up to the game." So, we knew there were challenges, but there's no excuse. My thing is, if you out there, then I expect you to play at a high level. And he didn't tonight. And again, I don't think Cliff called a great game. And Brandon Coleman was awful at left tackle again. And, you got to credit the Eagles defense too. Got to credit them too. I can't wait to watch the film, because I want to see what's going on. American football fan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Bro, I wanted y'all to beat the Eagles team so bad. I was rooting for you guys. F Saquon and F both Jalen's. I hate the Eagles more than anything. I wanted to beat them too. And we will beat them the next time we see them. But we got to get our shit together. Right? This was a good lesson for the young fella, right? For this team overall. Like, never lose sight of the fact that we showed up early. My guy Derek B hates when I use the phrase house money. We playing with house money. Who thought we were going to be 7-3, now 7-4 at this point of the season? Yeah, looks a little different when you were 7-2 and you could have been 8-2. Yeah, it looks a little bit different. Yeah, I don't discount that. We should have beat the Steelers. We should have won this game. Like, if you look at the opportunities we had early with the kicker missing kicks and the way they were struggling on offense and the way our defense was playing, we should have scored more points. We should have been up more. We had opportunities. We had great field position a couple of times. We didn't take advantage of it. So we got nobody to blame but ourselves. But make no mistake about it. This shit ain't over. A lot of football left to be played. And I told you already, even if we didn't get this game, I still don't see us losing any more games this season, including the second time we played Philadelphia. They still got to come see us. V-Chow, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. V-Chow, thank you for being a member of the MOBB rights. Felt like JD was rattled this week. Oh, and let me say this. Mike Sainristil. God damn, Mikey was a beast tonight. Mike Sainristil was in A.J. Brown's hip pocket. He looked good. Like, can you really move him from outside at this point? Like, is that even a real thing anymore? I think we put that to bed, right? I think we need to go ahead and put that shit to rest. I think we can do that. Because I talked about the defense and I named guys, but Mike Sainristil, that Frozone was cold-blooded tonight. Cold-blooded. Felt like JD was rattled this week and last, and Cliff's play calling wasn't helping, and sometimes went away from the run. Didn't really call much rhythm plays until late. Side note, Sainristil is a baller. And I'm glad you brought it up. Because Mike Sainristil, man. We already knew he was good. We just didn't know he could play boundary corner, right? But we talked about this when we drafted him. Nick Saban said he's the best pound-for-pound player in the draft. Nick Saban said, defensive player in the draft. And I said, I love me some Mike Sainristil. I didn't think we'd be able to get him. Straight dog. I agree with everything you said, V-Chow. JD felt rattled this week and last week. And I think some of that is coming from he doesn't trust the guys in front of him. Doesn't trust the offensive line, not trusting what he's seeing right now, right? And I don't think Cliff's play calling is helping. I think all of that is true. I don't see enough rhythm throws. I don't see enough, balance with the run game and the play calling. It's not doing him any favors either. I agree with you wholeheartedly right now. That's a great super chat. Commander Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, went to the game. Eagles fans are the worst and the least classy people in the world. This after talking to LB yesterday, talking about how great the Eagles fans are, right? Right. Can't wait to beat these clowns in a month, HTTC. I fully expect to beat them. I expect us to be healthy mentally and physically the next time we see them, right? I expect us to be refreshed. And I think this was good experience to see the Eagles, defense, to see the things that they were doing. Now we can adjust the next time we see them, right? Because I don't think they were doing anything all that, crazy. But they stayed in that too-high shell the entire game. They ain't come out of that shit. They didn't give their rookie one-on-one. I thought we were going to get some one-on-one opportunities. I saw a too-high shell the entire game. Too-high shell the entire game. Daniel Moore, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Louie T here. Y'all give up way too fast. Eagles lucky. We were tired. We'll get them next time after the bye week. Hugs and kisses, mob. Love you, Lou. Like I said, I know the mob. I know how they operate. I know how they conduct business. And how some of the people out there, fans, are gonna be gloom and doom, skies falling. Oh my God! Oh no, we suck again. That type of thing, and it's not that. And I'm not tripping. I don't think you should trip. It's the first 2-game losing streak of the season. It was the toughest stretch of football we had this season. It was supposed to be tougher. Dallas was supposed to be good. They're not. So we're getting a break here. Now we got to take advantage of it. And just like the Eagles did, the Eagles weren't playing good football earlier this season. They went on their bye. They came out of their bye, and they got a bunch of layups. And they put them all in the basket, and it gave them confidence. We're going to have this pseudo bye here, these 10 days off, and then we're going to get a couple of layups. We need to put them in the basket. Come off the bye, you get another layup, put that in the basket, and now let's go to work. Greg Giants 10, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, I know this is a bad time, but I only got $115 for the weekly pool winnings. When there was 23 people that played, I should have gotten $161. So if you know this is not the right time, why the hell would you ask me the damn question then? That's why I have an email, right? But did you not see the pool sheet? It said $115. Did it not say that? If 23 people played, and I've explained this multiple times, okay? I take $2 off the top. So it's $5 essentially per sheet. If it's 23 people playing, 23 times 5 is $115. We had this discussion multiple times. Apparently you didn't know. Now you know. All right. Stu Vision, stand up. You are now a member of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Stu some love. Greatly appreciate y'all. Welcome, Stu, with some love. Welcome to the squad, Stu Vision. Glad to have you on board. The Washington Chef, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, as much as I want this win tonight, and to be honest, I was frustrated with the offense, we as fans need to stop and realize we are banged up bad. I'm proud of the defense. They just got tired. Still have faith in JD5. Like, I don't even feel the need to even say I still have faith in JD5. Like my confidence is all of a sudden shaken in this young quarterback who's been absolutely spectacular this season, doing shit that we haven't seen a rookie quarterback do in NFL history. Man's completing damn near 70% of his passes this season. Threw an interception tonight for the first time since what? Week 5 against Cleveland? Did balance it out with 1 touchdown late. Like, I don't even like the comment of I still believe in him. Like, no, he's one of them ones. He's young. He's a rookie. This was his 11th start. That's the first time he's seen a Vic Fangio defense. These things happen. I expect him to look a lot sharper against this Eagles defense the next time around. I'd be disappointed if he didn't. There were guys open. I can't wait to watch the film because I know there were guys open tonight. I know it. Spilled Milk, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Quinyon Mitchell owns y'all, laughing my ass off. So does Frozone. He owns y'all. That was nice. Damn, my corner had a better game than yours. And I guess I should say this. We didn't target him. So can't even say he didn't have a good game because clearly he was doing something right that we didn't target Terry McLaurin, but that's on our quarterback. That's on my staff. Because I would have targeted the hell out of that young fella. Make him earn his keep. But they targeted Mike Sainristil, and boy, did he stand up on A.J. Brown's ass. Shut that shit down. Love it. DJ, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, 1 game at a time. Remaining schedule isn't difficult. Heal up, get ready, and for the stretch run. That's what it's all about. You know, we knew this was a tough game. We knew this was not going to be easy. And the opportunities were there. I mean, what more do you want? The Eagles were struggling and the opportunities were there, and we didn't cash in. You go back to the drawing board. Again, this feels like a bye for a team that hasn't had time off at all this year. This feels like a bye week. Now, you lick your wounds, you go home, you get better, you come off of this, little hiatus and hit the ground running. Take care of Dallas, take care of Tennessee, go into your official bye week, and you come out of that thing, hopefully 9-4, and you take care of the Saints, and you go to 10-4, and then now we back, hopefully, after the Eagles have dropped one or two, just see what happens. I don't see them losing the lesser opponents. I already talked about that. They're not losing the Giants. They're not losing the Cowboys. They're not losing the Panthers. The only 3 games they got remaining on their schedule that they can lose at this point are Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and us. So we got to hope they drop one of those, and then we got to take care of them, and then we can go from there. He himself, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, JD5 ain't him. Average at best, 9-win team. Hogs, 8411. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Louie, all I want to hear you say is you respect this defense. I respect that defense. I just needed to see it. I told you this wasn't about y'all defense being trash. I just needed to see it. I saw it tonight. I want to watch the film to confirm what I saw tonight, but I saw a really good defense tonight that was connected, that was flying around. I love Reed Blankenship. Damn, he's a good football player. Damn, Reed Blankenship is really good. I saw a really good defense tonight. I did. I needed to see it, and they said, well, here you go. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Swaggy P, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I knew it was a good game once we didn't recover. It was game over. When we didn't recover that Eagles, me too. I said, this ain't our night. Because Quan, I saw the fumble coming. I said, Quan, punch that bitch out. He has no idea you're behind him. Quan punched that bitch out perfectly. And at first I thought it was going to go out of bounds. But when it stayed in bounds, I said, Frankie, go get that shit. And out of nowhere, Grant Calcaterra came. I said, okay, we ain't winning tonight. That was it right there. We needed that one. We needed Uncle Mo to get up and walk across the field and come back on our sideline. That was the opportunity. And once we ain't get there, I said, oh, yeah, shit's over. Defense held its own. Oh, just couldn't capitalize. I'm fine with that 4th down try. Just needed better play call. Agreed. Many buys much needed. On to Dallas. # raise hell. Agreed. Agreed. Going Commando. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Going Commando. Right. So Lou, I'm with you. Coleman ain't it at left tackle. I've been saying this all season long. I had a bunch of fans, saying I was tripping. E was the main one, calling me out about Coleman. And look, I've been doing this for too long. I do this shit for a living. It don't take much for me to know if you can or can't. A lot of people didn't think he was a tackle to begin with when we drafted him. I didn't think he was a tackle at the beginning when we drafted him, but I convinced myself maybe he can play tackle. Maybe I got it wrong and they got it right. He's a guard. And that's okay. We drafted him in the 3rd round. Move him to guard. Tackle needs to be a priority in the offseason. If you ask me, that should be the 1st round pick. Move him to right tackle and draft the left tackle. I don't want him at tackle at all. He needs to be kicked inside, right? And right now, there's no space for him inside because Allegretti's here. Well, I think he signed a 3-year deal. Cosme just signed an extension, and Biadasz is signed a 3-year deal. There's nowhere for him inside. So I guess the next logical thing would be to try him at right tackle first before you decide to throw him on the bench. But I don't see him taking over. I mean, you could theoretically have a competition at left guard, but Allegretti hasn't done anything to not be, starting. So let's get Cole Luke back at left tackle. I'm saying, bro, for me, after this 10-day, like that'll get his ankle feeling even better. I need 78 back out there at left tackle. That's just me, right? But we'll see what they decide to do. Cliff gets a good chunk of the blame tonight, as he should. As he should. Hunter Hodovic, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Hunter Hodovic, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, writes, sorry, T, poor performance and going home empty. It was a poor performance by the offense, for sure. Like, disappointed, but it is what it is. Jesus Hits, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you, writes, this week you mopping floors, next week you... Next week it's fries. You're not the manager. Go collect the garbage in the parking lot. Good one. That's deserved. I thought you was going with the coming to America theme right there, man. In reverse. I like it. I deserve it. I can't be mad at it. Going Commando. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, Lou, this one hurts, but I'll say it. I expected both these losses and for us to recover the rest of the season. Lots of dubs from here on out. I didn't expect the loss last week. This one, I could see it coming, but I didn't expect it either. Like the one last week, that should have been a win. Never at any point in my mind that I think we were going to lose to Pittsburgh, and we shouldn't have. This one, there was a path to a loss. I could see it. I could see us losing this game, but I didn't think we were going to. And then to see the way that the defense played, I felt validated in the way that I felt, which was we should go in here and win. And we just didn't. We didn't have what we needed on offense. There are a lot of wins left on the schedule. Now we just got to go out and get them one at a time, though. Next up is the Dallas Cowboys. Let's focus on that. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, JD5 was still seeing black and yellow ghosts when he had time early in this game. We got a guy in Mikey, though. I'm excited to see him with Lattimore, as am I. If Mikey is what I think he is, that might allow us to get a little frisky defensively, do some things, right? Because Mikey is like, they kept trying double moves. Mikey was like, man, get that weak shit out of here, man. Hell out of here with that sluggo. Ain't nobody falling for that shit. He was on it. So if he can continue to play that kind of ball, he had a pass breakup on a third down. They tried to throw a little slant, he knocked that shit down, right? Out of the receiver's hand. Like, stepped over him too on some disrespectful shit. Knocked that bitch down, stepped over him. Huh? Get your ass off the field. Yeah, he was playing ball tonight. He was playing ball tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I don't know what's going on with Juice, but he was in and he was out. We saw a lot more of Michael Davis tonight than we have seen since week 2 against the Giants. We haven't seen him at all defensively since week 2 against the Giants. That tells you that Emmanuel Forbes is officially buried on the depth chart. All right. Officially buried. He might as well be inactive on game days at this point. They have no desire to put this man in the game. And I don't blame them, by the way. Rob Yu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob Yu writes, tough one. We had opportunities. Chin, Luvu, 0, and 20 are ballers. Agreed. O-line as a whole was absolutely atrocious. Team needs a break. I didn't think Sam Cosmi was great tonight, but a lot of those Jalen Carter wins weren't against Cosmi. He was either pulling, or he was on the center, or he was on Wiley. And then there were times where Carter beat Cosmi and he recovered. Like the sack that Sweat had. Cosmi, that's a hell of a job to recover. He got beat inside and Cosmi pushed his ass away and JD stepped up and he would have had a lane to run, except Coleman got his ass beat so bad he allowed Sweat to beat him around the corner, jump over the goddamn top of the pile and sack JD5. Like, Coleman stinks. That he was about to get out of there and really cause some havoc right there with a run. And because you couldn't just push him up the field. Yeah. 2K God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, D gave us all they had, then collapsed. I can't be mad, right? Tried to warn you about rookie left tackles. I wanted to see what he could do. I know what he can do now. I've seen enough. I had seen enough a lot earlier in the season before anybody else did. I told y'all when he was getting spot duty, this shit ain't good enough. This shit ain't good enough. This shit ain't good enough. Give me Cornelius Lucas, please. Cliff fading in the back 8 is a thing. It could be. I'm not gonna subscribe to it, but it could be a thing. Because the play calling was shit tonight. It was absolute shit tonight. This could be a real thing. I don't want to buy it, though, because dudes were open last week. You know what else is a great question that I would love somebody? What happened to the RPO game? That shit was so effective last week. What happened to RPO game? I don't think I saw it once tonight. What happened to that? I'm gonna chalk up Cliff's ineffectiveness tonight to a short week. That's what I'm gonna chalk up tonight to. Because the play calling was fine last week. Guys were running open last week. We scored 27 last week. I'm gonna chalk it up to the play calling was fine the week before against the Giants. So we can't say that the Cliff fading down the back stretch is a real thing because we were fine against the Giants. The play calling was fine against the Giants. The play calling was fine last week. Short week, it was shit. That's what I'm going to say. Short week, his play calling was shit. 5 has to be better. No one picked him up. Agreed. 2K God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, put some respect on our name. I ain't got to say no more. Hey, look, man, I ain't got nothing but respect for y'all. Had respect going into the game. Needed to see more from your defense. Knew what your offense was capable of. And what did I say? The formula is stop Saquon and make Jaden beat us. That worked tonight, and we didn't take advantage of it. We did what we needed to do. But the defense was as legit as y'all said it was. It was legit. I think some of it was on our part, us not doing things we needed to do, but some of that was y'all forcing the issue. So if y'all were trash on defense, it wouldn't have looked like this tonight. So I respect the hell out of y'all, but I already respected y'all. Tony, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Tony writes, this type of up-tempo play cannot be sustained. I hate it. It wears the defense out if there are no first downs. This is not Chip Kelly. Jaden needs to learn how to play under center. I don't necessarily agree with that theory. They're not going like super fast. This isn't Chip Kelly where they're snapping the ball with 17 seconds left on the play clock. Like, they're not going at warp speed. I disagree with that. This is the way they want to play. They've been playing this way pretty much all season long. It's been effective. Now that it's not working, it's a problem. I don't subscribe to that. The defense was fine. The defense has been getting better with the way they're playing on offense. We just need to be better, period. Again, this is what I talked about earlier. Once you start to struggle, you open yourself up to all of these excuses. You start reaching for reasons why shit ain't working, right? The defense was fine tonight. When we were punting, when we weren't effective offensively, the defense was fine. The defense did not break down until the very end of the game. And it had nothing to do with the ineffectiveness of the offense in terms of not converting third downs. We literally just came off a drive where we went down the field when we were down 12-10. We went on a drive, an entire drive. Defense got a chance to rest, and they didn't get a stop. They got the ball rammed down their throat because they were at the point of the game where they were ready to let go of the rope. And then when Jaden threw the pick, you already knew what time it was, and Saquon came out and put the dagger in our heart. So I disagree with that, Tony. I disagree with that. And Jaden can't play on the center. And he did that tonight. That drive that Cliff went to 12 personnel when we went right down the field, that was all Jaden under center. That was Jaden under center. So he can play under center. That's not an issue. But he's at his best in the gun where he gets to spread out, see the defense, right? And be able to be a playmaker. I want to see him in his element, which is, yeah, going under center is cool. You need to be able to be diverse and do different things. And he's been able to do that this season. And he was able to showcase that in this game. But he's at his best out of the gun. And I need to see us get back to the basics. Future Millionaire. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, that boy Frozone played a hell of a game. Should he stay outside? Him and 23 both outside should be great. I've been advocating for that. The minute we traded for Marshawn Lattimore, I advocated for just pulling Juice off the field. If it ain't broke, why would you look to fix it? Right? I think if we find out that there's nothing actually physically wrong with Juice, if we find that out, which I find it hard to believe that tonight was the night they decide to pull the plug on Juice without him actually doing anything wrong. So something has to be wrong with Benjamin St. Juice physically. If there's not, then we got our answer tonight. Because if they're playing around with that outside boundary corner before Marshawn Lattimore is healthy, you really think that when he comes back, they're going to say, nah, Juice, you stay out there and we're going to put Marshawn Lattimore on the other side? Or do you think them playing around with it tonight is an indication that, hey, when 23 is ready, we just going to insert him right there? That's what that says to me. Now, again, if Juice is banged up, then, it might work both ways, honestly. If Juice is banged up and he can't go against Dallas, that's going to open the door for Marshawn Lattimore to come in, because I think Marshawn, I told y'all when we traded for him, don't look for him until Dallas. I think this opens the door for him to be inserted. And if they see what it looks like with those three out there, why would you go back? Juice ain't going to be here next year anyway. So, yeah, I think we're going to see 0 and 23 on the outsides with 1 on the inside. Key, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Lou, you my guy, but Terry was in jail. Q is for real. I need to see it. I need to see the tape. I saw them showing the clips of, Terry running down the field with, Quinyon Mitchell grabbing the shit out of him down the field. But again, that's no excuse not to get your best receiver the football. You can't run a slant. Quinyon Mitchell is playing 8-10 yards off. You can't run a slant. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. Yeah, Quinyon's good. We already acknowledged that. That young man's a star, a future star in this league. I'm not doubting that. That's no excuse. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to make me okay with Terry McLaurin having 2 targets and 1 catch in this game. Nothing. I don't give a damn what you trying to explain to me. I want to hear the shit. Because I know if I were an offensive coordinator, I could do a better job of getting my best player to football. So that shit is inexcusable to me. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Double up. Who writes, inexcusable not getting 17 involved. Inexcusable. It felt like Scott Turner and Eric Bieniemy all over again. I have no words for that type of behavior. I have no words for that type of behavior. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob, writes, Terry might need to switch jerseys with Noah Brown. Maybe he needs to be 85 to get the football. I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe they need to switch jerseys. Future Millionaire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, Terry always balls out versus Philly. Disappointed. He does, which is why I was shocked that he didn't get more involved in this game. But I also can tell you, he wasn't going to get the deep ball because they played their safeties back. They weren't going for that shit tonight. They understood the assignment. We can see here act like Quinyon Mitchell locking dudes down one-on-one by himself. No, the hell he ain't. They had safety help over the top. Now, my guy, A.J. Brown in the end zone, one-on-one, locking shit down. But Quinyon literally had safety help the entire night. And so I'm looking at, it's pre-snap, I'm looking at 2 safeties deep. And I'm like, okay, they stand in this too high shell, which you should, by the way. That's what, If a team don't run you out of a 2-high shell, don't take you, you should never come out of a 2-high shell. It's not smart football. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I think we've been figured out. I'm concerned. I will only be concerned, and I've said this already, I will only be concerned. First of all, why would you think we're figured out if we scored 27 points last week and we had a chance to score 40, if not for the drop passes and the missed opportunities? How is that being figured out, J Mart? We scored 27 the week before that against the Giants and could have scored 30. We kneeled at the 1-yard line. How is that being figured out? Make it make sense, J Mart. One bad game means we figured out. They got us. You're one of them people who you go to the store with 3 of your boys and they catch you stealing. Hey, they got us. Y'all can come out, man. They got us. Hey, man. Hey, Brian. Hey, Ken. Y'all, hey, come on, man. They got us. No, they didn't get us. They got you. I'm not concerned, J Mart. Not yet. We can't score against the Cowboys. We can't score against the Titans. Then I'm concerned. Okay? Then I'm concerned. Commanders. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, you mad, bro? We look like Bears. No, I'm not mad. V-Chow. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, need to get more out of our offense as the season winds down. Got to get Luke McCaffrey and Sennett more involved. Those Bates targets should have been Sennett's. Can somebody explain to me the John Bates tight end screen? I need an explanation on that. That's 2 years in a row that our offensive play caller thought it was a good idea to throw a tight end screen to John Bates. I just need an explanation. I'm not looking for a dissertation. I just need an explanation. A one-sentence explanation on why this is a good idea. When you have more athletically gifted guys you can throw the football to in that situation. Why are we doing it to John Bates? You don't think Ben Sennett there is a good idea? A guy that can actually run if he catches it? I don't know. Rob U, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Rob U writes, D broke down at the end, but they did everything they could to give us a shot to win. O needs to regroup and get back on track. Facts. Absolutely facts. Brian N, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, very humbling game. We definitely can use the rest to get those wins back on track. The last drive was frustrating, no urgency. It felt like they were waving the white flag on that last drive, didn't it? No Terry on the field, running the football. Like, I get the run maybe before the 2-minute warning because you know the clock's going to stop anyway and you want to get the first down. But a couple of Jeremy McNichol runs there on like 2nd and 3rd down and the clock's running. And I'm like, you know, it's a 16-point game, right? You score a touchdown, get a 2-point conversion. You still got 2 timeouts. Like, you waving a white flag here? What are we doing here? Then you get the touchdown, then you get the 2-point conversion, but there's only 29 seconds left. Even if you were to recover the onside kick, right? You could have more time on the clock if there was a sense of urgency, if there were better play calls. You should be throwing in that situation on every down, unless it's like 3rd and inches and you want to just get the first down and to give you 4 new downs. But we were running on, 2nd and 7 and 3rd and 4. Like, what are you – seriously? Yeah, that was odd. Almost like, let's just get out of here. Let's just get out of here. Noah Brown wasn't on the field on that last possession. Terry wasn't on the field on the last 2 possessions, really. Neither was Noah Brown. Like, what are we doing here? Are we waving a white flag? Is this over? Are we ready to pack our shit and go home? What the hell is this? J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? 0, 4, and 11. Thumbs up. Offense. 54 and Cliff. Thumbs down. JD was running around at practice saying, I'm back. I'm confused. We are not ready, and it shows. Damn. Yeah, I saw him running around. He did the airplane, all of that good stuff. I thought he was going to be back, and then I saw some early, called quarterback runs that made me feel great. Like, hey, we might have our 3-headed monster back of JD5, Eck, and B-Rob, running the football. And early it looked like it was going to be the case. JD5 was active in the run game, and B-Rob was getting off. Eck was catching out of the backfield, running it. It looked good. And then somewhere along the lines, the signals got crossed. We stopped running the ball. We stopped with the two running backs in the backfield with JD that was giving the Eagles problems early in the game. And we kind of just went to the traditional gun, one back next to him, offset. And it just didn't feel creative. It didn't feel like we were doing things that were stressing the Eagles defensively. They felt comfortable defensively all game long. It never felt like we were really stretching them defensively. They felt like they were able to dictate to us what they were going to do instead of us making them, instead of us dictating the terms. It felt like they were dictating to us what we were allowed to do. And some of that's on Cliff, some of that's on JD5, right? OGJ Command, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, thanks for keeping me sane. This is the team I expected to see this season, a stout defense and a rookie quarterback. We are ahead of schedule and ready for a playoff run. Faith in this coaching staff. Yeah, like after the start to this season, we weren't expecting to see this, right? This is the antithesis of what we were expecting to see. But this defense is continuing to get better every single week. I thought they played well last week. I thought they played well 2 weeks prior to that. I didn't think they played all that great against the Giants 2 weeks ago. But before that, the Bears game, they were excellent in that game. I've felt like this defense has played better over the last month. And the offense has, not necessarily regressed. It just hasn't taken that step forward that we were all expecting it to take, right? Again, the Bears game, you could see the issues, the penalties. Like, there were good play calls. We should have scored points. We had penalties with guys being down the field. Cosme was down the field twice, right? Like, negating big plays and touchdowns and things of that nature. Like, we hurt ourselves. Wasn't the play calling, wasn't Jaden Daniels' play or any of that. We hurt ourselves in that game with penalties, right? And drop passes. There were some drop passes in that game. Noah Brown in particular. The Giants game, we were clicking on offense. We just got bogged down in the red zone, right? That was it. We moved the ball up and down the field. And when we needed to move it, the Giants never had the ball with a chance to take the lead. We always controlled that game on offense, right? Last week against Pittsburgh, we scored 27 points. And I get one of the touchdowns came off of a muff punt, but you still got to score a touchdown. The Eagles had the ball inside of our 15-yard line a ton tonight and couldn't get in the end zone. You still got to score from the 15, and we did. And we had ample opportunities to score, and we dropped passes, we missed open receivers, and we didn't score the points that we should have scored because of us. Not because of anything the Steelers did. This was the first game in a long time, probably since I think maybe the Ravens game, where a defense just made us uncomfortable and got us out of our element. And we looked out of sorts. This is the first time since prior to the Ravens game in week 6 that this has happened. Which is why I'm not subscribing to the Cliff. Back 8 Cliff is dead. I'm not subscribing to that. This was a short week. I don't think they were as prepared as they would have liked to have been. And again, I'd like to see them be more prepared, but it is what it is. It's Jaden's first time seeing this Vic Fangio defense. He does a lot of creative shit. They flew around tonight. Jaden was clearly not comfortable. And we got to be better. But I feel good about this team, man. I do. Because the defense is playing better. And I know this offense is good enough to beat the likes of Dallas twice, Tennessee, the New Orleans Saints. Hell, this defense, the way they're playing, we're good enough to beat Atlanta right now as well. Which is why I think we can win the rest of our games. I can't wait to see this Eagles team again. But in the meantime, I'm not going to do the thing I did last year where I'm like, yo, we're going to do this, that, and then we're going to see y'all. And not doing that this time. Let's just take care of Dallas first. Then take care of Tennessee. Then get that bye week. Then beat New Orleans. And then we'll see these Eagles again. And hopefully that game means something. Hopefully that game means something like this one did. And hopefully it gets flexed into a Sunday night spot. That's the hope. I want to see these bastards on a primetime stage again, this time at home, with the division on the line again, and hopefully the results are different that time around. And I feel really confident with a week's worth of preparation and game planning and having already played this team once and seen them and seeing some of the things they did the first time, we'll have an answer the next time. We'll have an answer the next time. Derek B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Never heard a winner say house money. Loser speak. I'm just telling you, we playing with house money. It is what it is. You call it whatever you want. We playing with house money. Now, we got to get our shit together because the house money's running out. And I expect them to do that. I expect them to do that. The Phillies Ace 34. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? You took too much PTO time, so we had to let you go. But having said that, much respect to you, y'all. Vic has done a good job. Barkley out for blood. Yeah, Saquon's a beat. I wanted him out of this division, man. I knew he was going to be a problem in Philadelphia. Vic has those boys playing ball. And people thought he was washed. I said, man, Vic's a good damn defensive coordinator. And now he's got the pieces. They playing ball. But I can't wait till we get another shot at him. I think we can like there were opportunities. JD Sports Talk. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Mike is improving. When Lattimore returns, look out. I think, and I said this when we got him, I think Lattimore will be back for the Dallas game because that would have essentially been a month he's been out, which is usually how long it takes for a hamstring. And again, I don't know the extent of his hamstring injury, but he didn't play the last game he was in New Orleans when they played Carolina before the trade. He didn't play that week. He got here. He didn't play against the New York Giants. I think we got him that week. He didn't play there. Or was it the Steelers game? I think we got him after the Giants game. So the Steelers game would have been his first game. So he didn't play the week before. He didn't play the Steelers game. He didn't play in this game, obviously. So that's 3 weeks. And then you go all the way next week. Hopefully he practices and he's able to play. That's a whole nother week. And then he plays on Sunday against the Cowboys. Even if he doesn't, it's Dallas. We should be able to take care of business against them without him, personally. Like, I'm not rushing him. I just always circled Dallas on the calendar as the game that I expected him to be back. But even if it's not until after the bye week, if you just want to play it safe, we should be able to handle both the Titans and the Cowboys without Marshawn Lattimore. And if you tell me, hey, we're just going to bring him back after the bye week, he'll be fully healthy then. Cool. Like, what I don't want to do is rush him back. He re-aggravates something or exacerbates the injury, and now he's out for another month and a half. To hell with that, right? If you told me, bro, we just going to wait till after the bye, okay, cool. Commanders, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes? No expectations for this season, but love for the team. That was the way I felt going into the season. There's expectations now. The expectation is to still win this division. The expectation is to still chase a number 1 seed. None of that has changed. I told y'all before this game, whether we won or lost, None of that was changing for me. As long as we didn't come out here and get our brains bashed in, which we did it. We were leading in the fourth quarter again for the second straight week in a row and didn't know how to close the show, which is a part of, the process with a young team that's trying to learn how to win and beat good teams. We just got to learn how to finish, right? It wasn't clean. It was sloppy, but you got to win sloppy too. You got to win ugly too in this league. And we haven't really been able to do that yet. I shouldn't say that. We did that against the Giants early in the season, week 2. And we did it against the Bears, even though it was an unconventional way. We did it. So there are expectations now, at least for me. I can't speak for anybody else. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Joe Rockhead writes, we have a great foundation, but as long as JD gets rib wraps between drives, I'm not expecting one of them ones guy consistently. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. If that's still taking place, he's not he's not himself. You're right. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Until that stops happening on the sidelines, he's not right. I think you're 100% spot on. I think that's the best way to look at it. If he's fine, then he's not getting that done after every possession before he sits down on the bench. So you're spot on right there. That's the perfect way to look at it moving forward. Until that shit stops, you can't look for him to be the guy that he was earlier this season. I think that's the best way to look at it. Prince, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Bo 1990, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, lock McLaurin up. AJ got locked up tonight too. Not as significant as Terry did, but at least y'all threw the ball to AJ. At least y'all gave him a shot. We didn't even give our guy a chance. Maybe that's because your boy locked him up. Lock him up. Lock him up. Maybe it's because he locked him up. Or, this is just a thought. I'm going to watch the film and I'll know. Or it's just because we ain't shit. Our play caller won't shit. My quarterback tonight didn't look his way and give him a chance. And so he never got an opportunity. That's what it feels like. But only time we'll be able to tell. Just Andre, thank you for super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Just Andre, thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Kirk was complaining about the DeJean PI call, but was silent on the Mikey Phantom call. These announcers past few weeks. I mean, it looked like a Phantom call though, but the Mikey Sainristil illegal contact that would have brought up a 3rd and long. What the F was that about? Right? Like what? So yeah, I mean, the officials, it wasn't worth complaining. It wasn't a poorly officiated game. So it didn't impact the game either way, one way or the other. Billy D. Marcus, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Lou, these Eagles fans don't realize they're on borrowed time. Saquon carrying their $255 million quarterback, 7-4 ahead of a schedule. Chef P on the way. They on borrowed time. I already told you that. Like, even if we don't get them this year, I feel like the division, I'm still chasing it this year. I'm not conceding a damn thing right now, right? Still got 7 games to play. So we're going to let this thing play out. Or in our case, we got 6 more games to play. Eagles still have 7 games to play. So we're going to let this thing play on out, see what happens, and let the chips fall where they may, right? But I feel like this is our division to win next year, for sure, right? But this year, I'm still chasing after it. But you know what it is. We know what it is, right? We're only going to get better. This is the worst our roster will be for the next 10 years. It will never be this bad again. So I'm looking forward to that, right? Lang Hughes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Lang Hughes writes, JD been throwing dimes since the injury. Think he just had a bad game and that's okay, LOL. Mikey and Lattimore about to lock it down. And he's still been throwing some dimes since the injury. I refuse to think that he just had a bad game because I saw too many passes skipping the dudes. He ain't been doing that shit. It's one thing to miss a dude, you overthrow him. It's another thing to miss a a receiver a little bit behind him. He looked like Donovan McNabb tonight. He was throwing ground balls. When has he ever done that before? Like, that's not even remotely close to who he's been this season. So maybe he did just have a bad game. Maybe the Eagles did flummox him and he saw ghosts and he didn't want to throw a pick. So instead of throwing the ball where he thought it needed to go, he threw it in the ground. A great example, though, is Terry McLaurin on the shallow cross on that 3rd and 4. Where the hell was that football at? Like, who's catching that? Right? Like, what was that about? So, you know, the Noah Brown deep over route, wide open. Like, he hasn't missed that all year. It's hard for me to believe that he just was that off, right? Prince, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Right. Q was on one-on-one with Terry a lot. I didn't say he wasn't. He was one-on-one with help over the top. There's a difference where somebody's just one-on-one and no help versus one-on-one with some help over the top. Because it was help over the top every time. Don't fool yourself, Prince. I was looking at the shit. Terry's running that deep over route. That safety sitting right there on the other side, waiting on his ass. Terry's running up the sideline. That safety already over there on top of that shit. Don't fool your goddamn self. Okay? 2 high safeties the entire game. Hunter. Hunter, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Mob, you know what to do. Show Hunter some love. Welcome him with open arms. Welcome to the squad, Hunter. Dave's Big World, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Bigfoot, stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Bigfoot, welcome to the squad. Glad to have you on board. Welcome to the MOBB. Blaze, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, y'all future is bright. I look forward to plenty battles, future battles, as do I. We just had to demote y'all to employee. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. We took too much PTO. We deserve it. We abused the company policy and we got slapped on the wrist. Too many complaints on how business is being ran. I got it, man. You know, we didn't take care of business. So we got demoted. And that's what happens when you don't do what you're supposed to do. I get it. I get it. Totally get it. Cameron McDowell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Should we sign Willis from Cleveland to replace Coleman? I don't know if that's an upgrade. There's a reason why he's out of favor in Cleveland. You know, I've heard Cleveland Browns fans say he was trash, you know, before they had the issue with him kind of taking himself out and not playing in the game. And then they just said, oh, you don't want to play? Bet. You bench. Don't worry about it. No, I want to go draft our left tackle of the future. I'm not looking for anybody's retread. Abdella, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdella writes, Lou, I grew up with Eagles fans in my family, and as friends, I really don't like the Eagles more than the Cowboys. Wanted this game very badly, disappointed. I wanted this game bad, very disappointed. I wanted this game bad too. But the silver lining, and I said this, we played them again. As bad as I wanted this one, I knew this one was going to be tough. I thought we could still win it, and we had a chance. But in my mind, I'm like, banged up, short week, quick turnaround. The only thing that gave me confidence is they were pissed off at how things ended against Pittsburgh, and they were going to use that as fuel to help them win this game. And they came out with that kind of intensity and energy on defense. And they kept it up for 3 quarters. Unfortunately, the offense didn't match that intensity, and that's what got us. But I knew it was going to be a tough assignment. I thought we would be better prepared and we would play better. We didn't. But we got them again. And I told you, had this been in Washington and this happened in Washington, I would have been distraught because now we would have had to go to Philly and try to beat them the second time after they just came in our house and beat us. I like our chances at home to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. I like our chances. Tony, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, hate the no-huddle offense. It wears the defense out if the offense doesn't get first downs. Eagles were smart. They went up tempo too. Jaden has to learn to play under center. Is this Chip Kelly? So I think we kind of already answered this super chat already once. I think that the up-tempo offense is fine. I don't have any issues with it. It's been working this season. I love the up-tempo style. You keep the defense for the other team on the field. They don't get to switch their personnel, which stops them from being able to get creative with blitzes and different packages, putting different players in the game. It's smart to run up-tempo because you can really control and dictate what the defense is able to do. If you get a personnel grouping on the field defensively that you like, you think you can take advantage of it, you can trap them on the field. If they want to try to run a guy off and get another guy, you can catch them with 12 guys on the field. So I like the up-tempo offense. As long as you're not switching personnel, you're good with it. Quincy Perkins Jr., thank you for the super. Stand up. You are the newest member of the MOBB. Mom, you know what to do. Show Quincy some love. Welcome to the squad, Quincy Perkins Jr. Video channel, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, we're ahead of schedule. JD5 is process. We're ahead of schedule, a.k.a. house money. Yeah. Kevin the PRF, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, earlies are in, translated and fluent Philadelphia Eagle fan. There you go. Thank you for that translation, Kevin the PRF. Like B-Rob ran it well tonight. He almost ran for 4 yards a pop. I just didn't think we were the run game just was not like there was no diversity. Like in short yardage situations, we've seen the jet sweeps with Austin Eckler, things of that. Like I thought we needed to get to the Eagles perimeter more tonight. Stretch them out, make them chase the football. Running at them is not smart because of Jalen Carter. And running counters and shit like that, and allowing him into the backfield, that's not smart either. That's not smart either. Let's get to the supers though. Whew, that's a lot. God damn. Okay, let's get to work. The Washington Chef, Aaron O'Connor, Zab Strip 2265. All of y'all stand up. You are now the newest members of the MOBB. Glad to have you on board. Mob, you know what to do. Show all of them love and welcome them to the squad. Welcome aboard. Corey Ryan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we ain't it. JD getting hit too much. I told you this was a levels game, right? We were going to find out what level we were at. We're not on the same level as the Philadelphia Eagles right now. That's not to say we won't be in a month when we play them again. But as of right now, we're not at their level yet. And that's okay. That's okay. Fount JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, from the offensive play call into the QB on down, they ain't bring that dog with them tonight. JD5 is regressing. No fire and kind of looks defeated when sitting on the bench. Concerning? Again, I knew this was going to happen because once shit doesn't look the way that it looked before, people are going to start making up shit, reaching for excuses as to why, instead of just letting it be what it is. The man is hurt. This team needs rest, and it was a short week. I will grant you that he hasn't been as accurate. He wasn't accurate last week, not the accuracy that we've seen. And he was accurate against the Giants the week before, right? The throws were on point. So we can't say that Like, did the injury get worse? Or was it just cold outside? Like, these are things that these are real questions, right? At the end of the day, whatever the case may be, we got to be better. But to say that JD's regressing, nah, I'm not buying that. Now we trying to analyze what he looks like sitting on the bench. That's what are we doing right now? Seriously? Okay. Ebad Shameen, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes. Is the cliff regression people talk about? Is this the cliff regression? Like I said, I don't subscribe to that. Y'all can have fun with that if you want. But did the offense look bad last week when guys were running open, not catching passes, and JD5 was missing? Did the offense look bad the week before against the Giants when we were moving it up and down the field? If that's what regression looks like, sign me up for more of that shit. Was it good tonight? No. But it also was a short week with not a lot of practice time. And they poured into a lot. And they talked about it. They poured a lot into that Steelers game. They did not pour a lot into this Eagles game from a game planning standpoint. They talked about it. You kept hearing DQ talk about money in the bank. Like, we've banked a bunch of reps. Translation, we ain't really game plan for this Eagles defense. For real. Like, we did the best we could, but it ain't the best shit you've seen. That was the product. That's what we saw tonight. So I'm not tripping. But y'all go right ahead. If that's the narrative y'all want to run with, knock yourself out. I won't be joining you. Jay Hunter Lee, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, what's up, Lou? Hey, man, either the league has figured out Kingsbury or JD5 is not well. He shouldn't be playing if he's hurt. Like I said, I'm not going to go down a Cliff Kingsbury road again. I just explained myself like 5 times saying the same thing. But is JD5 not well? We know he's not 100%. I think Joe Rockhead summed it up best. As long as this man is getting his ribs wrapped after every possession, no, he ain't well. Is he better than Marcus Mariota? Him at 60%, 70% better than Marcus Mariota at 100? Yeah, I'll take Jaden Daniels at 60, 70% over Marcus Mariota at 100. Yeah, I will. So as long as he can play and he's not injuring himself further, he might not be 100%, but I'll take him over Marcus Mariota. So, yeah, we're good. Christopher McLaughlin, my guy, Chris, C. Matt, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, Lou, hope all is well with you and the family. Likewise, Chris, likewise. 1, how do you split the blame game between blame game pie between Kingsbury, Daniels, and the O-line tonight, and why? And how does the coaches expect the team to win with Terry having 1 catch for 10 yards? So I'll start with the second question since it's an easy one to answer. I don't know what in the hell you look to accomplish with your best receiver getting 2 targets, 1 catch, 10 yards. Don't know what you look to accomplish doing that. Don't know who you think you're going to beat doing that, by the way. So you got some explaining to do there because it ain't like you didn't know. You went to halftime. The sideline reporter literally asked you before halftime, hey, Terry McLaurin doesn't even have a target in the game so far. What do you got to do to get him? Oh, yeah, we're going to go into halftime. We're going to talk about it. Yeah. And then he came out and did the same shit. We all assumed that Terry was going to get a target on that first possession in the second half, and he didn't. I think unless we count the 3rd and 4 shallow cross that was bullshit that resulted in the field goal being kicked. The blame pie, the blame game pie, I think I would split it up. Right now, I think the easiest thing to do I'm gonna take the cheap way out. I'm gonna take the easy way out. 33.3 all the way across the board. 33.3 on Cliff, 33.3 on Jaden, 33.3 on the offensive line. I think that's the easiest thing to do because they were all at fault and it kind of feels equally, right? They took turns screwing us. All of them did. Mike Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mike Leslie writes, was tight up until the last 5 minutes. Respect. It was a good game. Like, it was sloppy on both teams' part, but it was a tight game. It just got broken open late. I'm glad we got that last touchdown. 26-18 feels a lot better than 26-10. Feels a lot better because that 26-10 isn't indicative of what this game was. So I'm glad it didn't end that way. Christopher McLaurin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Christopher McLaurin, my guy, C-Mac, writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Chris? I still think we are a playoff team with the schedule to close. Also, I would have kicked the field goal instead of going for it on fourth. Thoughts? Also, question, how concerned are you about the rush D 228 yards given up tonight? I'm not concerned about the rush defense. I know what the rush defense is. And some of that rush defense yards given up is on the offense because, one, the defense shouldn't have been on the field as much as it was. Two, they went down the field. You could see they were gassed. They gave up the touchdown, and then you immediately come out and throw an interception and put them right back on the field. What did you think was going to happen? I'm not concerned. I'm proud of them for playing the way that they played on the ground tonight. Saquon and that Eagles offensive front, they're a load to deal with, and they bottled him up pretty damn good for 3 quarters. And then he exploded in the final quarter. So I got no issues there. And I think the run defense can improve even further when you get Marshawn Lattimore down, because then you may be even able to bring an extra defender down into the box if you feel the need to, right? So not concerned with the run defense at all. It's what we've been all season long, but we're getting better even in that department. We're getting better. Now, what did I think about the decision to go for it on fourth down? I love the decision because you weren't going to win this game 13-12. It wasn't going to happen. You needed a touchdown. And we needed to be aggressive. And you can't ask for aggressive play from your coach. And then when he does it, you start to second guess him. And I'm not talking about you in particular. Being conservative might be in your DNA. That might be your nature. But I advocated for that prior to the game. Hey, we need to treat this game like we did against Cincinnati in week 3, where we come in understanding that we're going to have to score points tonight. And while we got to that point of the game and it was a low-scoring affair and maybe you might win this game 16-15, the likelihood is the Eagles at some point they just scored a touchdown. So, like, this whole notion that, maybe they won't score any more points, so maybe we'll keep them to a field. No. You needed a touchdown. And that drive should not have ended the way that it ended because it was second. And again, that play is the one, like last week, the Luke McCaffrey miss was the play of the game. To me, the play of the game tonight was the Brian Robinson decision on 2nd and inches to try to bounce the ball outside to his right instead of just continuing to push forward behind the line that was going to allow him to get the first down. That was a bad decision on Brian Robinson's part. That cost us dearly. At the time when he did it, I was disappointed, but I was like, we still got 2 downs to get 1 yard. Like, we fine. Then we ran it. The 3rd down call was terrible, and then the 4th down call was the worst of the season. So I didn't have any issues with them going for it on 4th down. Can we get a better play call than that bullshit, please? Can we take that out of the damn playbook, please? John Perez, been a member for 9 months, writes, what a disgusting loss. We're not ready for the big time yet, clearly. Jaden was trash. Quinn got out coached. Kingsbury stunk. O-line is trash. Only D showed up. Oh, and Coleman stinks. Draft a first-round tackle. There's the JP we all know and love. There he is. He's been dormant. There he is. There's the old skies falling JP we know and love. Ethan Dykes. Kept him at bay for as long as we could. But he's out now. That JP is out and he's playing. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, this one stings, but just having a reality check. We have been playing way above our level, good coaching, but the cracks are forming. JD equals human. He is human. He is human. That we learned against Carolina when he got injured. He is human. Look, we've talked about this all season long. We've overachieved. Derek B doesn't like me talking about house money, but that's the fact of the matter is we've overachieved. We are playing with house money. This is not a good roster. Contrary to what people like, Eagles fans clearly don't know what our roster consists of because they see the product on the field and they don't understand the difference between a good roster and coaching. Make no mistake about it. We have an abundance of holes up and down this roster that need to be addressed. And slowly but surely they will be. You can't fix everything in one offseason. That was the mantra last year. That's going to be the mantra this year. You can't fix everything in one offseason. What you can do is get a step closer. And that's what they'll do this offseason. But we still got 6 more games this season. I'm still looking forward to the finish of this season. I'm excited about the finish to this season. Static Shot. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Coleman got his ass whooped tonight. Bad loss. Yeah, Coleman got his ass whooped tonight. I have no defense, but Coleman's not my guy. So I've been saying this. And I'm hoping that they're not too proud because they drafted him to pull the plug on this experiment and understand that this season can still be something, but you can't have the offense suffer at the expense of one player, right? Especially if it ain't the quarterback. When you got another guy that's fully capable in Cornelius Lucas that has proven that this season, I think you either got to go back to the platooning thing that you were doing earlier, every other possession that was working, or you just got to put Cornelius Lucas in. One or the other. You got to make a decision. But Coleman for the entire game, ain't it. Ain't it. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Also, Lou, some thoughts. Carter wrecked Cosme. I refuse to believe Quinyon locked 17 down that badly. Frozone is him. Left tackle, wide receiver, tight end, all big needs. On to Dallas. Carter, I think that's a misconception that Carter wrecked Cosme tonight. A lot of times Cosme was not blocking him. There were a lot of pulls by Cosme. And again, a guy can win, but you can recover and salvage the rep. I saw Cosme do that twice where he salvaged the rep. But Carter absolutely changed the the comfort level of JD on that particular snap. But if the rest of the line held up, he could have made something else shake, but it didn't, right? So I don't think Cosme was blocking him one-on-one as much as y'all think. A lot of times Cosme was pulling. So he was beating Wiley, he was beating Biotish, he was not getting blocked at all, right? Which is never a good thing. But I don't think he got wrecked. I think the film will bear that out. And maybe the film, I'll watch the film and be like, no, Cosme got his ass whooped. I don't think that's going to be the case. I'm with you. I refuse to believe Quinyon locked down 17 that bad. I think it's malpractice on the part of this coaching staff to not get him more involved. That's what I think that is. Frozone is definitely him. And we do need left tackle, receiver, and tight end, among other things. Defensive end, linebacker, running back. I still want a speed running back as my third running back. Game-changing type of back, right? A lot of things. Corner. Drinkable Measy. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, is it me or was or Terry wasn't into the game at all tonight. He looked lost. That felt like a lot of dudes though. Felt like that's why I said mentally we need a break. That's why these like I agree. Like I don't know if Terry was like frustrated because he wasn't involved, and that's why I said you there's a fine line in this league. Like Tom Brady said, he would always make sure he would get guys like Randy Moss the ball early in the game, first possession if he could, but definitely early because you don't want receivers checking out on you mentally. And while Terry's really never been that guy, like this is a big game. Terry's been the guy all year long, and then all of a sudden I'm not getting a rock. It's easy for you to like. It's a short week. Like it's easy for you to mentally check out. And his stare looked empty tonight. Like, oh, y'all ain't gonna give me the ball? F it. Like it kind of felt that way. But I know that's not his demeanor. That's not his mindset. But I saw that too. Like Terry looked somewhat despondent on the sidelines. Like, guess we just gonna get our ass whooped tonight. Guess y'all ain't gonna get me the football. Cool. I mean, if that's what y'all gonna do, cool. That's it. I did see that too. But again, I won't say he wasn't into the game. And this was one of those nights where I told you we need a recharge, physically and mentally. Physically and mentally. Just think about it in this context. Imagine working your job essentially without any real time off. They've been at it now since July. So late July, August, September, October, November. Once you get to maybe another week from now, they would have been at work 5 months straight with no real time off. They haven't, because we ain't had no Thursday night game. We had no bye. So this is the first time that they've actually had real time off. Think about how taxing that is mentally, not just physically. They play a physically demanding sport. Think about how taxing that it is mentally. Shit, we go through it when we don't get a time off after a month or two, let alone 5 months. Then you want to turn around and do it on a short week. I'm not here to make excuses because they're professionals. This is what they get paid to do. But it looked like Terry was like, yo, they ain't going to get me the ball. What you want me to do? What you want me to do? I saw that a little bit. Sonny Rawson, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, damn, that one stings. This is one of those games where we really miss John Allen. Hope we can use this mini bye to get right and stomp the Cowgirls. We ain't miss no damn John Allen. Yeah, he won't go do shit. But try to get people hyped before the game. He won't go do a damn thing. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Jaden played god awful tonight. Terry was a ghost. Hate how Jaden was smiling after the pick. This team is not ready to beat contending teams at all. We just don't want it. Eagles are just better. You don't know what he was smiling about. Like, this is what happens when you start losing. You start overanalyzing everything. You don't know what he was laughing about, right? Just because you threw a pick don't mean you got to go over on the sidelines and sulk. He could have been laughing about, like, some people, I know people who laugh like a nervous laugh, right? He could have been laughing at, like, damn, I can't believe I did that stupid shit, man. And he was just chuckling, right? Like, you don't know what he was laughing about. It's levels to this shit. All you basically said was it's levels to this shit, and we ain't at that level. I agree. Andy Ridpath, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Andy writes, tear into him, Lou. D played well until the dam broke, but I can't think of a single thing we did well today on O. This game was ours to lose, and for the second week in a row, we lost it. Not going to cut it. That's it right there. We led this game in the fourth quarter. We had ample opportunities to stretch the lead out. The score was 10-3 for like 2-3 possessions straight when we had the ball. The score was 10-6 with the football, with us having the football. And I said, you know what? A touchdown to go up 17-6 would be large here, right? We had ample opportunities. We had great field position early in the game. Did nothing with it. Like, this is on the offense, without question. This loss is on the offense. And you can split it up whatever way you want. Offensive line, Cliff Kingsbury, Jaden Daniels, everybody gets blamed. Everybody gets blamed. Courtney C. Wilson, founder. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, do you feel that JD5 injury impacted this play? If so, should we have played him? I think his injury is definitely a factor, but I'm playing him. If he's healthy, if he can play, I'm playing him. Simple as that. That's why I'm not making no excuses for him. If he's out there, then that means he's healthy enough to play. And if he's healthy enough to play, I'm holding him to the standard that he set earlier in the season where he established himself as one of them ones. So I'm not making any excuses for him. If he's out there, then he's good enough to play. Then I expect him to play at a high level. Simple as that. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, if we get another week 14 by next year, I'm suing the NFL for malpractice. Eagles D is legit. Denny's is closed. Time to go to Texas Roadhouse and eat. Good one. I was ready to open Denny's back up after we scored that first touchdown. I was like, man, they could be in for a long night tonight because JD5 looked like he ready to start running the ball again. We got the three-headed monster back with B-Rob and Austin Eckler. Like, they could be in for a long night. I thought we was finna do work. And then we just did it. Maybe Denny's is closed for good, man. Maybe Denny's is closed for good. We won't have a week 14 bye next year. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Like, they could shit on us for 3 years straight because we won't shit. Now we're a good team. We'll get an earlier bye next year. I just don't want it to be super early. But we'll get an earlier bye next year. Zaydu, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Zaydu writes, we did the same last game. We got in our own way. Defense held up pretty well, especially Sainristil. And add LT to that list of needs. Players looked off today. B-Rob, Jaden, that break can't come soon enough. I told y'all before this game, man, we need this break. Man, we need this break. And I could see it tonight. This is the first time where I knew it going in, which is why I brought it up a million times. Like, if we could just get through this game, but I knew it was going to be tough. And we saw it tonight. Everybody needs to get away. Everybody needs it. For healing purposes, physically, for mental clarity, all of it. The deck needs to be cleared. Get away from football, play video games, do whatever it is that you do to clear the mechanism, and then come back recharged, man. I think you're going to see a better team on the backside of this thing. And, of course, we'll be playing opponents that should allow us to be better, right? We won't know if we've truly, gotten to the point where we can compete with the better teams until we play Philadelphia again. That'll be the next. Then Atlanta, right? Those will be the two games on the back end of the schedule that will tell us if we've gotten better or if we're still the same team, and we won't be that way until maybe next year, right? But got to take care of the business, and the next team up is Dallas. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they finish up. But I've been telling y'all about left tackle. I've been adamant. Ask anybody, especially the mob. I've been saying the same thing over and over again. Left tackle is still at the top of my list. And I think most people came to that realization tonight. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the Jaden panic button has officially came into view. Worst performance by a rookie quarterback this year. Yoshi, do you watch any other games? Do you know that the Chicago Bears contemplated benching Caleb Williams? And you think this is the worst rookie performance by a quarterback? You should have stopped with your last super chat, Yoshi. You said you don't want to get ahead of yourself. You should have stopped because you went too far. You went too far. You just drove off the cliff. Will Morales, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Will writes, hi, Lou. Could JD5 be hitting that rookie wall if he weren't banged up and we had a bye already and he wasn't physically and mentally beat up? I tell you, yeah, maybe he's hitting that rookie wall. Maybe. I'm not subscribing to that. Literally, he played a good game 2 weeks ago. Literally. 2 weeks ago. Last week, Not a great performance by him. This week, an even worse performance on a short week. I just think that we need to clear the deck, and that's what you're going to see. I think he'll be fine next game. I really do. And if he doesn't play well against Dallas, if he doesn't play well against Tennessee, then you can start to worry. Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, y'all need to chill on 5. You seen Caleb Williams? Don't waste your breath, Ethan. Don't waste your breath. If you got people saying stuff like that, then you don't really need to. John Kime, thank you for this, Miss Perry. John Kime tweeted this out at halftime. Washington held Philly without a touchdown in the first half for the first time in a game since week 4 of 2015. And we held them without a touchdown in the first half for the first time in almost a decade. Nobody has been able to do that, and we did that to them. The defense played ball. Unfortunately, nobody else did. Thank you for that, Kevin the PRF. Really appreciate you as always. Commanders, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Hot weather QB is a good theory. He was in a blanket. It was cold outside. I ain't gonna front. Every quarterback usually does that. Like, it's cold as shit outside. As soon as you get a chance, you get off the field, put me in a goddamn blanket. You damn right. Put me in that big ass coat. Every quarterback does that shit. So I'm not too concerned about that, but I have noticed that he's cold, and it wasn't that cold outside, 3 weeks ago. And I was like, yo, I asked people that was at the game, was it that cold? Because he looked like he was freezing. They was like, nah, bro, it wasn't that cold. So it's just something, it's just a little food for thought. But I just really think it's more about the injury, him being physically and mentally tired, and that injury just kind of limiting his ability to drive the football like he once was able to do earlier in the season, and just rest being the thing. Like, he's downplayed it, but he's also said, no, this shit is bothering me, but I'm not going to complain about it because what's that going to do? I'm going to just power through and keep playing. Robbie Witherall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, this one hurt. Agree with you. Keep Mikey on the outside. And I think they will. Robbie Witherall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, still believe in the squad. Terry must have been hurt. He wasn't in on the 2-point convert. Terry wasn't in on the last 2 possessions, essentially. I'm hoping he's not hurt, and they just decided that we don't want anything crazy to happen. Let's keep y'all out of the game, because he wasn't in, and I don't think Noah Brown was in either. I don't think Noah Brown, literally the 2 receivers on the field were, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about this, were De'Ami Brown and OZ. Those were the 2 receivers in practically the last 2 possessions. So I could be wrong about that. Dandrix, thank you for being a member for 30 months. Tough-ish with good people. # real culture. We gonna be all right. I agree with that. Like, this is the first real adversity we've hit this season, and we're gonna find out what this team is made of. I'm already seeing what the fan base is made of. Y'all ain't shit. A lot of y'all, not all of y'all. If I'm talking to you, I'm talking to you. If I'm not talking to you, then I'm not talking to you. But all the people questioning Jaden Daniels and questioning Cliff Kingsbury, like, I don't really know. I don't have any words for you. Like, because I don't want to say what I want to say, because that's mean, and I don't need to be mean. It's not necessary. But this is that tough shit he was talking about. Like, I feel like you guys had this false sense of this was going to be easy. Like, we were going to win every game this season the rest of the way. Like, we were going to finish this season up 15-2 or something. Like, there wasn't going to be any more adversity. I don't really know what these fans were looking for. we didn't get our ass kicked tonight. Like, if this was the Bears game, I could understand that kind of reaction. We lost by 8. And I know that the last 8 came in garbage time, but does anybody feel like this was a blowout? Because it wasn't. We were up in this game 10-6 in the fourth quarter. We were trailing 12-10 with a chance to take the lead if we decided to kick a field goal with 7 minutes to go in the game. Like, I'm lost. Help me. Right? Dandrix. It's tough-ish with good people. I love it. Mike Leslie, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, was tight until the last 5 minutes. Respect. It was. It was a good game. Good game. J Mart, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. J Mart writes, LT, what is your take on 54 so far? Need to see more. He's been everything that I thought he was going to be for us. Everything. Been a leader on the field, get everybody lined up. He sees things before it happened. Can he get there like he once could? No. But we knew that. We knew we were getting older Bobby Wagner that isn't as fast as he once was, but he's been excellent this season. I'm thrilled with what we've gotten. And if he wanted to come back next year, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. He's been really good. But, you know, Jordan McGee was supposed to be getting the torch passed to him. And then that injury, it changed everything. I think Jordan McGee probably needs Wagner to be here again next year so that he can officially have the torch passed to him. I don't know if he's ready to just step in and be our middle linebacker because we don't have proof that he can do it. That's why he was supposed to stay healthy, and they would have been giving him all the snaps that Michael Walker are getting. Those were supposed to be Jordan McGee snaps, and because he got injured, now he ain't getting shit. Maybe he'll get some snaps after the bye week when they got more time to get him up to speed, but this train waits for no man. And once he got injured, the train kept moving. He fell behind, and now I don't know if he's going to be able to catch up this year. And what I'm not willing to do next year is just assume Jordan McGee can step in and move on from Bobby Wagner, and then Jordan McGee is ass so he gets hurt, and now we screw that middle linebacker. So right now, I'm on bring Bobby back on another 1-year deal next year. That's the type of time I'm on right now because he's been so good, and I know what I'm getting. I know what I'm getting in Bobby Wagner. Abdallah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, that cornerback room looking real good right now. It's taking shape. It's taking shape. Between Noah Igbenogany, who I also want back on, I might even be open to a 2-year deal for him next year after the way he's played this year. Between Noah Igbenogany, Frozone, and then Marshawn Lattimore, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Shit's starting to get, again, we'll see what Marshawn Lattimore looks like. Joe Rockhead, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, I like seeing Bates used as a target. He's the ultimate invisible weapon. They just turned his ass loose like 87 ain't getting the ball. That's why I thought Luke McCaffrey could have been that kind of a player for us tonight, right? Because who's scouting Luke McCaffrey? Who's scouting John Bates? Nobody. Because who's scouting Ben Sinnott? Nobody, because they've been non-existent in the offense. I was hoping one of those dudes would show up tonight, really like Luke McCaffrey, but clearly it didn't happen. Jamal Hamlin, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jamal, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, couldn't watch the game. I saw some highlights living overseas. It's too difficult. I will say this, though. Our total losses equal total wins from last year. Let them boys rest. Still enjoying the ride, as am I. As am I. Knew this ride was going to be equipped with some bumps in the road. Still loving what the boys have provided for us to this point. Absolutely. Enjoying the ride. And it's still more fun to come. Still more fun to come. You know, losses suck, especially ones like this against rivals that you've been talking shit with. But this is a part of the game. This is a part of the game, right? Robbie Witherall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Robbie writes, I'm behind with live. Damn, this game felt like 2023. Didn't it though? There were aspects of this game that felt real 2023-ish. Like, yo, did Eric Bieniemy like body swap with Cliff Kingsbury tonight? Because some of this shit didn't feel Cliff Kingsbury-esque. But again, I think a lot of that had to do with the short week and the lack of preparation that went into this week. He just looked ill prepared. He looked like he was just calling random shit tonight. There was no rhyme or reason. There was no stringing plays together. It just looked like he was just calling random shit. Key, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, going for that fourth down cost y'all? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Because again, now I would say this, it cost us momentum. It gave y'all all the momentum in the world, and then you kind of just took off after that. But what lost us the game was our inability to finish drives, our inability to take advantage of opportunities. We had y'all down early. We needed to add to that lead. That's what lost us this game. That one decision, we weren't winning this game 13-12. That wasn't happening. So I love the decision to go for it. We needed a touchdown. We didn't need a field goal. We need a touchdown. We need a touchdown right there. If you can't get a yard, I've always been of the mindset, if you can't get a yard, you don't deserve to win. We couldn't get inches, and then we couldn't get a yard. You don't deserve to win. You don't deserve to win. Abdullah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Abdullah writes, we need to find a gem of a speed back next year. Miss J.D. McKissick. This game proved to me that we're going to bounce back. Got faith. I'm looking for something better than J.D. McKissick. Way better than that. But to your point, I'm looking for a guy that can be dynamic. Like, love Eck, but Eck ain't outrunning nobody. All right. I'm looking for a dude that anytime he touches you, like, oh, shit. Like, anytime Saquon touch it and get in the open, you're like, oh, shit. Here we go. I want one of them. We won't have one of them. Robbie Witherall, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Robbie writes, to be honest, I feel like Saquon is having the CMC effect. He is. That kind of effect that CMC had on the 49ers. Where, he just changes things. For sure. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Glizzy writes, can we stop running Jaden between the tackles? I'm not a big fan of it, but I don't mind some of the quarterback draws. Like, he got like 6 yards on a quarterback draw tonight. I'm not a big fan of it, but I understand why you do that. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of him in between the tackles either, because I don't want him around those big bodies. I like him out on the perimeter where he can slide, where he can get down, where he can get out of bounds. But I think that some of that is a necessary evil to keep the defense honest by running those quarterback draws and things of that nature in between the tackles. My boy Huncho6, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's good, Lou? I'm not concerned at all. I actually feel better about this defense, but the O-line was outplayed tonight. We had receivers open, just have to execute. I gotta watch the film to see. I know I saw Terry open once. I saw Zach Ertz open once on a third down and short. And so I know guys were open at times, but I got to sync it up with, did JD have time? Like on the Zach Ertz one, I know he had time. Ertz was standing at the sticks wide ass open for like 3 seconds with nobody around him. And JD just never looked that way. But on the Terry play, I got to look to see if he was available at that time to throw the football. Was he under duress? Was he running for his life? What was the case, right? So I feel better about this defense too. Mike Hicks, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, 26 points, 2 missed field goals, and an extra point. What defenses? You call it whatever you want. Y'all got in the red zone how many times and weren't able to score? That's defense. Y'all didn't score a first half touchdown for the first time since 2015. What defense? That defense. Y'all had 10 points. I don't give a shit what you talking about. You had 10 points. 4 minutes into the fourth quarter. You had 10 points, or excuse me, 12 points. What defense? You tell me. Even if you made the 2 field goals and an extra point, that's 19 points. You bragging about 19 points? That defense. General JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. General writes, y'all was way too cocky. This is big boy ball. We deserve that. I'm still cocky with mine. You know I ain't going away. So I hope you don't think because we lost this game, I'm going to all of a sudden be humble, because I'm not. I already told you I thought we was going to win the rest of our games. You're included in that, in case I know some of y'all Eagles fans are a little slow, but you're included in that. So I'm not backing off. I thought this was a game that we could lose, but I expected to win. And we came out defensively with enough juice to get it done. And offensively, we got humbled on offense. I'll grant you that. Humbled on offense. I think most of us feel better about the defense after the performance they turned out tonight. And defense is going to get better. We did that without Marshawn Lattimore. We think we're going to get better on defense. A good ass whooping humbled y'all boys. This wasn't an ass whooping. This wasn't an ass whooping. Stay in your place, young bull. This wasn't an ass whooping. This was a readjustment. This was a, hey, you ain't ready yet. An ass whooping would have been, damn, we weren't close. Like, we were never in this game. We never had a chance. That's the ass whooping. We were winning in the fourth quarter and could have took the lead with a field goal if we wanted to. I don't consider this an ass whooping. But we definitely lost. And we showed signs of a team that ain't quite there yet. Give us a month to get our shit together. Maybe we might be there in a month. Maybe. We'll see. General JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, back to life, back to reality. And I got Cooper Rush Cowboys beating y'all next week. Good for you. Bless your heart. It's levels to this shit. I agree. Eagles killed them pigs tonight. Jaden, one of them ones. Blasphemy. Miss me with it. You'll find out. You think you seen the best of Jaden tonight? You didn't. He's definitely one of them ones. But I ain't gonna explain myself to you. You can't say I got Cooper Rush beating y'all and then expect me to entertain anything you say after that. You killed the rest of your statement. Greg G, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Right. Eagles were better everywhere. Would you agree? Nah, I wouldn't agree with that. I wouldn't agree with they were better everywhere. I actually think that you know what? Our kicking game was better than them. Our special teams was better than theirs. That was better than them. Everywhere else, they probably were better than us tonight. I think quarterback was a wash. Neither quarterback was really that good tonight. Jalen's legs were really a real factor, though. His legs, he made his legs a factor. I will give him the edge there. So in saying that, I'll give him the edge overall. The running backs were better. The offensive line was better. The receivers were better. Shit, we didn't even throw to ours, right? And you could say that the Eagles did that. I'm going to put that on the coaching staff, right? Their tight ends were better. Their D-line was better than our D-line. I thought our D-line played well tonight, but their D-line was better than ours. If there was one position defensively, I'd say our linebackers were better than theirs. I didn't really think their linebackers really impacted the game all that much. But there ain't too much we did better than them in this game. It ain't. I'd say you probably pretty much spot on. They were better than us everywhere, with the exception of linebacker, and that's debatable. And we were definitely better kicking game-wise. Punting, kicking, covering kicks, all of that. We were better than them at that, special teams-wise. JD, General JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, FedEx is our house, Lou. Stop it. Y'all getting swept. Y'all been good there. Y'all been good there. You know what? So have we. We've been really good there. We've only lost one game there this year. Shouldn't have lost that damn game. But again, I ain't talking about the Eagles. Just like the last time we had to play y'all, y'all wanted to talk to me about that game 3 weeks in advance. I'm worried about Dallas, then the Titans, getting this bye week, the Saints, and then y'all. But we'll see where y'all at then. A lot can change in a month's time. You should know that better than anybody because y'all look like straight ass the first month of the season, hit a bye week, came off the bye, and a month later, you look like a totally different team. A lot can change in a month. So hopefully we'll be back to where we were earlier this season after we get these couple of breaks that we got coming to us. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to playing y'all at home. But we got we got business to attend to before that takes place. J Mark, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. J Mark writes 30 thumbs up to 74 dumpster juice on the Dallas HTTC. I mean, he wasn't good. I'm not gonna call him dumpster juice. I think he's in over his head as a tackle in this league. I think he'd make a fine guard. And the only issue now we have is where you going to put him. If he's not your left tackle, I don't think he's your right tackle either. Where you going to put him? Allegretti's been fine at left guard. Biadasz has been great at center. Cosme is your franchise pillar at right guard. Where you going to put him? That's the only thing. Spence Calise, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Spence writes, why trade for hurt players? Sorry if already asked. Because he's not going to be hurt forever. You trade for a guy that can upgrade your roster, and not just this year. Keep in mind, this isn't a rental. That would be a valid question if he didn't have any years on his contract beyond this season. Then you would ask, why are we trading for a dude that we traded for roughly for the final 9 games and he can't play in the first 3 of them? Why would you do that? But that's not the case. It's the rest of this season, it's next season, and it's the season after that because he's got 2 years on his deal after this year. You trade for a guy that can help you not just this season, but next 2 seasons and maybe even beyond, depending on how you feel about him as he gets to the end of his contract. So that's why you trade for a guy that's hurt, because he's a 4-time Pro Bowl player that, when healthy, is one of the best corners in football still. So that's why you trade for him. General JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, we're not the Steelers or the Giants. Big regression. I don't get what you getting at there. I don't understand what you're trying to say. Let me take this opportunity to jump back into Inside the Odds, brought to you by BetUS.
Inside the Odds.
Looking for a new book? BetUS has you covered. Fastest payouts in the industry. Get up to 10% back on your net losses twice a year. And here's the big kicker. For new users, use the promo code YouTube150 to get you a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit of up to $2,000, and your next 2 deposits, 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. Also, remember, bet responsibly and only bet what you can afford to lose, and do not, I repeat, do not chase your losses. But if you're going to bet with the best. That's BetUS. So, this was the triple prop bet for the Commanders in this game. Brian Robinson over 45.5 yards, Jaden Daniels over 222.5 yards passing, and Zach Ertz over 34.5 yards receiving. I think 2 out of the 3 hit. Daniels had 191 yards passing, so I know he didn't hit that. That also pisses me off because I think if I'm not mistaken, LB said he wasn't getting 200 yards passing. And I was like, we'll see about that. And he said we weren't going to score 21 points. And I was like, we're going to see about that. All of that shit came to fruition. So that pisses me off. But I think Ertz had over 34 yards. And I think I know Brian Robinson Jr. had 69 yards rushing, I believe. So let's double check the Ertz receiving yards. Feel like he hit it. Yeah, 47 for Ertz. So 2 out of the 3 ain't bad. But, you know, Jaden definitely missed a couple throws, had some opportunities, didn't take advantage. So that sucks is what that does. But it is what it is. So let's get back to the comment section. Mob Boy Huncho 6. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, we are not far off from the Eagles. We could have put them away in the first half if offense would have taken advantage of Eagles D-line was too much for us today. Yeah, we had our opportunities in this game. Make no mistake about it. I said this to anybody that was listening before the game started. The Eagles are notorious for starting games slow. There was an opportunity that was going to be there if we could take advantage. And what exacerbated their slow start was the fact that their kicker couldn't make a kick. So it took a slow start. It made it even slower. And we had every opportunity to bust this thing open, and we couldn't do it. And you got to credit their defense for that, too. Got to credit their defense for that. General JD, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, quote, Quinyon ain't seen Terry yet. What did we miss? Again, I'm so disappointed in our inability to get our best receiver to football. I am stunned at our inability to even target him. And again, I think a lot of that is play call based, right? I can't say anything. I got nothing for you, right? It looks like your boy shut our guy down. I refuse to believe that happened until I watched the film. I think this was malpractice on our end. Between the quarterback and the play caller, I think it was malpractice on their end not getting 17 to football. So I got to see it. And if I watch the film and I'm like, yo, no, Quinyon locked his ass up, then I'll tell you, he locked his ass up. General JD, Eagles sweeping the division. They not like us. Y'all ain't beating us the next time. I'm going to say that. I say that assuming health. Assuming health. Y'all ain't beating us next time. I love the way we neutralized Jalen Hurts in this game. We do that again, and we do what we did to Saquon in the first half, the first 3 quarters of this game. I like our chance because I don't expect y'all to be able to do what y'all did to us defensively the next time because now we done seen the shit. And I expect us to be healthier the next time we see y'all with a full week of preparation and game planning for y'all defense with actual film of what y'all did the first time. But we'll see. You know, we'll see. Long ways away from that. Jay Black, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jay Black writes, death, taxes, and Percival missing tackles. You know you can count on it. You know you can count on it. It's always going to be there. You know you can count on it. Patrick Ferreira, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Patrick writes, love you, Lou. Uh-oh. Anytime somebody says that, it's a butt coming and a lot of bullshit after it. But you guys a bit more off than you, a bit off more than you could chew. That's not bad. It was just Eagles versus Elliott and the refs all game. The refs were shitty on both ends. I felt like y'all got away with a bunch of holding penalties. A bunch of holding penalties. But again, I told you the officials their impact on this game very minimal. They had a bad call on Mike Sainristil on a legal contact. What? Like it was trash on both ends. At the end of the day, we didn't make plays. We didn't get it done. And we got to credit the Eagles for that. Got to give credit where credit is due. Eagles made plays. Eagles got it done. It wasn't a great start for them, but they persevered. And like you said, we bit off more than we could chew. That was big boy football, and we weren't ready. We weren't ready. And it's level. I said it. It's levels to this shit. We're going to find out what level we on, and we're not on the Eagles level, not yet. Commander Cole, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up with rights. Get Percival off the field. King of missing tackles. You know what you're getting. They love his speed. They love his speed. I love Percy's speed too. And I'm not going to beat Percy up. He was coming 1,000,000 miles per second, and he ain't have a chance to break down. And Saquon's not the easiest guy to tackle, even when you got a chance to break down. So I wasn't expecting. Quan Martin wouldn't have made the tackle. He would have did the same shit Percy did. We've seen Quan Martin miss that exact same tackle this season. Twice. So I ain't going to beat Percy up. I ain't going to beat him up. Patrick Starr with Blonde Weave. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes. Sainristil had AJ Brown on lock. Nicer rook. He played AJ well. I was pleased. Like that was way better than I expected. I knew he was capable of maybe covering Smitty, but AJ doing the things he did against AJ, that was impressive. Very, very impressive. I wouldn't say I think I said he locked him up earlier. Did he catch that slant early in the game? Was that on him, or was that on the other side of the field? I feel like that was on the other side of the field. If the slant that he caught early in the game was on him, then I can't say he locked him up technically. If that slant wasn't on him, then yeah, he locked him up. Because all he had was that little 4-yard out route, and Mikey came up and hit his ass immediately. Other than that, he locked all that shit down. So the Benjamins 88, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, last 2 weeks are games that will be looked back on when we win these kind of games in the future playoffs. The story's being written in real time. Hashtag raise hell. If we learn how to win these games this season, yes, you are right. These 2 games will, in fact, be games you look back on and say, these were the callous builders, so to speak. These were the games where we learned how to win and we learned how to defeat good football teams by going through the fire and going through the adversity of not being able to do it. We'll see what happens. Patrick Starr with Blonde Weave. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, oh no. Jalen Hurts make sure you put it without a J or without a Y, excuse me, was talking trash to SVP in post-game interview because SVP is a Skins fan, which he is. Dang, we got to show up next game, not take the game off. That's what comes with the territory. I was talking shit. I got to take my lumps. SVP is definitely a Commanders fan, so he probably gave him a little work. That's how it goes. HTTC. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, apparently we don't like nice things. How many times do we have to witness a squandered lead? Now the media is going to call us pretenders. You get what you deserve. You want to shed that label? You got to win games like this. We'll get more opportunities this year, right? But in the meantime, take care of the games in front of you. Take care of the Cowboys. Take care of the Titans. Take care of the Saints. And then we'll revisit this Eagles team a month from now. We'll be better prepared, and we'll be a different team. And hopefully the defense continues to get better. And by the time we see them, we're playing the kind of defense they're playing right now. That's the hope. But again, if they play the way they played tonight, we're going to have a chance to beat them the next time too. And you would hope that with the time off, the full week of preparation, that they'll be more prepared. And the film on what the Eagles did the first time, they'll be better prepared to take on this Eagles team the second time around. That's what you would have to assume, right? At least that's what I'm doing. Benzo, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Benzo writes, manager's back in town, Louie. Yeah, the managers are back. I was back, and then I found out when I got back that I'd been fired. Didn't see that coming. Plot twist. Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Command post-game live show. Eagles beat the Commanders 26-18, improved to 8-2 on the season. Commanders dropped to 7-4. Standings-wise in the NFC East, this was a pretty tough loss because now, had you beat Pittsburgh last week, you're still just a half game back. That's it. You're good. Now that you lost last week and you lose this week, now you're a full game and a half back, and you're going to need somebody to beat You're going to need somebody to beat the Eagles for you to get back into this NFC East race. If you can't do that, then us beating them the next time around isn't going to suffice. So now you need help. And that's the thing you were trying to avoid, was needing help from somebody else. Now you need help. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Who writes, start Mariota versus Dallas, give JD 5 and extend it by. We still have another game after that. We're not in the interest of giving away games or, look, if he can play him. He's going to have 10 days off. Why would you want to, if he played on a short week and now he's got 10 days to rest, why would you want him to rest then? I'm at a loss. No, he should be even more ready to go next game against Dallas. You should want to play him even more. Patrick Starr with Blonde Weave, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. I think that's the double. No, that's actually the third one. My fault. Listen, I wanted this game bad, but I'm not mad. It's a reality check. Commanders fans, we were 4-13 last year. We're 7-4 this year. The Eagles are way more finished product than us. It's a fact. It is a fact. But it doesn't change the fact that we thought we could win this game and we had a chance and we didn't. That doesn't change that fact. It didn't change the fact that we didn't look prepared on offense to take on an Eagles defense that clearly was prepared for our offense. That's frustrating. That's disappointing. But it doesn't change the fact that this team still has a lot of good football left in front of them, a very favorable schedule in front of them, and an opportunity to right this wrong a month from now at Northwest Stadium. So we'll see what happens then, right? Anyway, I digress. That's going to do it for me, your man, Louie T. Until next time, before we get out of here, one more shout out to BetUS. Looking for a new book this football season, BetUS has you covered. Head over to betus.com. Use the promo code YouTube150 to get you 150% off on your first deposit of up to $2,000, 125% on your next two deposits up to $2,000 when you use the promo code YouTube150. You guys have a good one. Take care. This is going to sting. 10 days of having to sit with this shit. Eagles fans are going to be talking mega trash, and you just got to take it. This is what happens when you don't win. But this is our new existence. Get used to this. And we won't always be on this end of the trash talk, right? But this is our new existence. When you're good, these are the matchups you find yourself in, and you're not going to win all of them. But understand, this beats the alternative of being the Giants or the Cowboys this year, where you ain't shit and you can't say shit. And if you say shit and then you get your team is trash, it's 10 times worse. We just starting. We just scratching the surface. Patrick Starr with Blonde Weave. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, hey, we laid an egg. It happens. We got them again. Facts. Patrick Starr with Blonde Weave. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Philly fans going to talk, and that's okay. We coming back. You know what's coming. They definitely going to talk. But again, that's a part of this rivalry that I think we're going to establish with them. This was a close game. Make no mistake about it. This was a close game. And we fell apart at the end. We're a young team. We'll be back. We'll be back. Till next time, you guys have a good one. Take care. God bless. And good night.